Welcome back to the Padilla Family Homestead. We are out here to do a couple of things before we have another 4 or 5 days of rain that we're expecting, like 4 to 6 inches again. So there's a few things I need to look at. I want to show you a couple of things that I'm having to come out here and battle, and I'm going to have to do something about it. But I want to show you what's going on, and I'm going to tie up some tomatoes. So you can definitely see the height difference between the tomatoes on the left, which are ones that I bought that were pre-started, and the ones next to them in the second and third tubs. I did go ahead and just move that trellis over because it was too far away from the tomato that I had planted, and I wanted to get it closer. You're going to see me do that in a little bit with one of the tall poles as well. With all the storms and all the rain and all the lightning and all the things and all the warmth and the sunshine, these tomatoes are taking off. And I have already tied up the first bucket multiple times, and now it's time for me to tie the other tomatoes for the first time. And so just get them attached to this trellis. We were supposed to have some possible high winds tonight, and I don't know if that's actually going to come through, but a possibility of up to 70 miles per hour. And so I really wanted to try to get some of this stuff attached up to the trellis to help give it support in the storms, and then go from there. I am using a plastic tomato twine that I got off of Amazon, and I got this spool last year and I've been using it. I cut these strips a little too short, so it's kind of a pain in the butt to get them tied on, but that's okay. So every little bit I'm tying them up to the post or to the trellis and allowing it to grow up from there, giving it a little bit of room for that stem to get bigger, but also not too much room to where it's really not going to do anything. The other thing I noticed is that the marigolds that I planted from seed are growing so fast, and they're much bigger here than they ever were in California for me. So they've already shot up way above the basil and everything, and so it's really interesting to see that. I kind of wasn't planning on them getting that big, so we'll see if I have to do some rearranging in the beds or not, but it is what it is. So I had interplanted radishes in with my squash because I read something somewhere, saw something somewhere that talked about radishes can help deter squash bugs from finding your squash. And so I'm going to end up coming back out and planting some seeds to replace the radishes that I pulled. But I'm also thinning because there was a couple of seeds in each spot. These are quick radishes. They're kind of small, but they're totally edible and are going to be delicious. I'm showing you some aphid damage right here because that's part of what I'm having a problem with. I decided to go ahead and check the bed that has my onions and other peppers and turnips and radishes and all the things. And so I'm going through, I'm pulling weeds first because I'm realizing how bad the weeds are. I need to get my hula hoe in here over the weekend. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to check the radishes and pull a couple out. My radishes are sown way too thick here. I really need to thin them out. But I'm going to go ahead and grab some as they start to bulb and just eat them as a smaller radish. I am going to have to replant beets because not that many popped up, which is unfortunate. So I will be replanting those to get a few more to come up hopefully. there really were only a couple in here, and none of the turnips have started to bulb up at all. I don't know if you noticed to the left, there are some onions starting to bulb, which is amazing. I went ahead and grabbed my basket, and I have been just yanking this mint out, and it is ferocious, and this back corner keeps coming back. I have to be careful back here because there's actually like AT&T lines, and I don't know what other lines that are buried like into the bed. I don't understand the planning here. I did not do that. This is a rental. So I'm trying to be very careful what I do back in that corner. But I decided this mint is just coming back. I have chopped it down. I have done all kinds of stuff. I'm going to start harvesting and using it. I have no clue what type of mint it is. It doesn't really matter. It is hardy and it is growing. And so I'm making sure that I'm harvesting what I can, and I'm going to utilize it. So my original plan was to wash it and to dry it, which you'll hear me say at the end of this video. But what I ended up doing, and I'm really excited about it, was I washed a bunch of the mint and I put it in a 1/2 gallon mason jar, put boiling water, well, hot water from the tea kettle, over the top of it, set a lid on top so that way the flavors and things didn't leave the jar. And as it was cooling down, and let that steep for 10-15 minutes, and then I strained it into another 1/2 gallon jar and added some honey and some lemon juice to it, and we have this really delicious cooling drink for those hot humid days, which it is today. So got that all made up and super excited to drink that. Okay, so these holes are a problem. Looking for caterpillars. They're usually very, very small when they first hatch. So I'm going to take this off, and just let those go. This has successfully rooted. There are aphids everywhere, and there are eggs everywhere. So I'm going to have to spray this pretty good, but we're about to get a ton of rain. So I'm trying to be careful in my timing here. Let's see. If I can show you a good example. So this is one of my mustard leaves, and you could see the aphids right here, and you could see eggs. So if you rub your finger across it without tearing it, they come off. And so that's what I've been trying to do, is do that before everything is decimated. And it is the white moths and aphids that are doing this. And so I'm not super thrilled. The other issue I have, which I'm going to bring you down and show you, are actually, I'll just cut this leaf off because it was pretty bad. Okay, so if you see this design, that means you have leaf miners. And if you flip the leaf over, I see eggs, I see aphids, but also in these white lines, you could see like a black spot in between the leaf molecules there. So there's one here, and then I'm pretty sure we have a separate one in this track. But basically, I would take this leaf off because it's infested. Anytime you see the leaf miners, there is a way to kill the leaf miners between the leaf node, but most of the time this leaf is going to be not good anyway. So I'm not going to bother taking everything off of here, but I am going to tell you, I'm going to be out here, and I'm probably going to have to do the dish soap trick because my kale is covered in stuff. These are, I think, my collards, and ooh, I don't remember if that's ladybug larvae. I may leave that guy in there. The black and orange. So, but they eat aphids, and he is eating an aphid. So, nature is giving me a remedy. The other thing I want to point out on this leaf. All right, let me move this. This guy is a good guy, the black and orange. This guy, is that green guy? He's eating the leaf. So the caterpillars start out much smaller than this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this ladybug larvae back, but I'm going to take this leaf away. So he was in here, and I have lots of issues on these leaves. There's lots of food for him. So I'm going to kind of flick him onto there, let him go back, and then I could show you this caterpillar a little better. So this is what the white moths produce, is this caterpillar, and they are nemesis. Squish them, cut them, whatever you need to do. But I am going to keep removing the rest of my leaf miner damage because I really don't want that to keep spreading. Here's a caterpillar. So I would be lying if I didn't say that that was discouraging. But I keep in mind that nobody's gardened here. I don't know in how long. I feel like this is something different. There weren't signs that people were gardening food in pots and stuff. And so this is the bug's natural habitat. There's moths, there's aphids, there's things everywhere. And what is encouraging to me is to see the ladybug larvae. And then the other thing is that I'm catching it early. I'm probably going to go get ladybugs and release them. It's getting a little hot. They're probably, most of them aren't going to stay. There's ways to do it to try to get them to stay a little bit better. But I want to naturally take care of it as much as possible. I have to stay up on the caterpillars. So there's two separate issues. There's the aphid issue. I've noticed some white flies, but there's the caterpillar issue too. So I have to stay up on that as well. So I am trying to, in the midst of all of this rain that we keep getting, to get out there and harvest what I can when I can. I've got some beautiful pineapple sage, some strawberry leaves, this wild mint that grows. I keep trying to kill it. At this point, I'm done trying to kill it. I'm just gonna harvest it. Some of these radishes, they look amazing. And so I'm just gonna keep harvesting and eating what we can. And I'm also going to treat what we can. I'm not putting poison on the garden. But I will naturally do things as much as I can. The one where I will break the rule sometimes is the dish soap, because I know it has its own toxic stuff, but it'll help. We'll see. It may help get some of the stuff off. So this weekend I'm going to assess that situation and decide what I am going to do. But I had a very brief period of time today to get out there because I got to get in the shower and get to work. I have laundry going and stuff going on that I have to deal with inside. And it's already getting very hot and humid outside. And that rain's going to start coming in by the time I get home from work tonight. So I wanted to show you kind of what I'm battling, kind of where we are. I'm trying to tie up those tomatoes and keep them tied up. They are growing so fast now. They're going to be bolting with all of this rain and the heat and the sunshine and all the things. They're just going to keep growing leaps and bounds. I have some tomatoes on the ones that I purchased, and so I'm excited to hopefully have tomatoes pretty soon. And yeah, so we're just doing the thing. I'll probably do another garden tour next week, or this weekend, I guess, after the rainstorm, because the garden is changing quite a bit. The green stalks, everything's growing in them. A lot of things are being eaten, but things are growing in them pretty fast. The onions are starting to bulb up, and our herbs are growing, tomatoes are growing, peppers are growing peppers. Caterpillar got into one of those. So yes, the other thing I'm probably going to do, I'm probably going to have haters for this, but when I'm outside, I am going to bring my electric fly swatter with me. And those white moths that create, they look like beautiful white butterflies, but they are moths, and they lay the cabbage loopers. And there's a very, 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 very high population here. And so I'm going to zap some of those and try to get them to lessen their population and hopefully lessen some of my problems. But I also have to be paying attention for little cocoons, because they cocoon up pretty fast, and they don't necessarily, they're not very big, they're not super obvious all the time. So they'll try to attach to the GreenStalk. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to get this stuff rinsed off, make sure there's no bug eggs or anything on it, and get it laid out to dry. Get myself in the shower and get off to work. So thank you for watching, and we will see you back here on the next video.